It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
12:06. Not a game day, but the Edmonton Oilers, if it was, I'm sure they'd win. They are a week away from taking on the Vegas Golden Knights for a chance to run it up to 17 consecutive wins. We've got lots to discuss here today on Two Guys and Goalie. If you are listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com and you have any questions or things you'd like us to discuss, you can hit us up there, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can slide on into the nasty chat as well. Cass, I like your business work shirt today, buddy. Looks like a nice little comfortable shirt.
Nice
there.
little polo. Polo action. Never hurt anybody.
Is that about as casual as you'll get around the office?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wearing T-shirts in, hey? Like,
no.
Not even a cool CFL T-shirt like this?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
I guess I'll
like
keep it
some
then.
days, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be nice.
Gager, what's up, buddy? You took off the EST hat.
Oh, sorry.
No, you don't have to put it back on. I thought it was on, and I looked at you.
Hot.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks real nice.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, get your merch. Hive Product Marketing. We actually have a little bit of merch left right now. It's over at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Click on EST Shop, and there's like a little directory of what we got, a little inventory, a little stock of what we've got over there right now. All right, boys. So the Edmonton Oilers here have won 16 in a row, but the McRib's back, so that's big news. Are you guys big McRib guys?
No, I think they're gross, but that's me.
You think they're gross, eh? Like I was saying today, gross, I don't think I've ever tried one, so I plan on trying one here. But the idea of it, the concept of it, I'm not like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. Now Hustler just said on Lock Shop, he absolutely loved it. He plans on getting one here right away. Gager, are you gonna be able to convince us other way or?
Oh, you have to try it, right? A McRib takes me back to playing minor hockey in Kerrisdale. And right outside Kerrisdale Arena, there's a McDonald's, and we'd go there after almost every single game. And I would eat a McRib, and my father and I would have McRibs, and I just remember my mother with her head out the window like a dog going to the dog park because we were just destroying the car, my father and I, with flatulence right after eating this McRib. It just brings a smile to my face, putting my mother in such discomfort. So, Mom, I'm sorry.
A nostalgic McRib for Gager, eh?
Every time I take a bite out of a McRib, it takes me back, and I just remember stinking my mom out of the Scamp car that we were driving. It's nice.
No McRibs for me. When I was a kid, like you guys know, I'm very particular eater, very picky eater. So when I would go to McDonald's as a child, like my dad would not let me get like a cheeseburger with no pickles or onions. He's like, you'll eat it how they order it. And I was just like, no, that's not what I want. So I only ever had Big Nuggets at McDonald's until I was like 16 years old. And that's it. That's all I ever had.
That's why your palate is just ruined.
Yeah, yeah. I just had McNuggets over and over and over again, and I was like, "Oh, this one looks like a shoe. It's very cool." Like that was it. That's all I ever had. I didn't get to try anything else. It sucked.
So, Dusty, you're going to Vegas. Like,
yeah.
There's the culinary arts in Vegas alone are amazing. Do you just what are you going to be adventurous at all? Like
I'll probably hit up like a burger joint.
Opportunity. Oh, Jesus.
I know. I'm sorry. We were talking like we got pretty busy. Like we get there next Monday, we go to the Sphere, and then we do the shows. So we'll be working in the morning. They do have lunch planned for us, but I don't want the lunches at Beer House, which I might just end up staying at Beer House basically all day on the Tuesday, heading into the game. But we're thinking maybe Wednesday night we go out for a dinner. Like go see what's up. Go find a nice place. But like, isn't it? I mean, it's steaks and chicken, just like everywhere else, isn't it, Gager? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe try a little, maybe some fish, or a different take on a steak of some sort. Let's see how far we can push this palate of yours to get to.
It's not very far. I I like to hit the pizza place across from the piano bar in New York, New York.
What kind of pizza? Is just straight cheese?
Just straight cheese and pepperoni. I mean, that's about it. And then if I can get a good breakfast buffet, I'll go have like some scrambled eggs and bacon. Like I don't know, man. It's all right. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Iwanek will get my palate out there a little bit more in Vegas. Who knows? But yeah, no, we are looking forward to that. We're going to do all the shows there next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So the Nasty Chat's already hopping. Jenna says, hey, does Dusty know about the big Regina hockey card stash? Yes, I do. We talked about this on our show this morning. Kind of ties into two guys in the goalie as well. His family in Regina found a case, an unopened case with 16 boxes of 79-80 O-Pee-Chee, which is Wayne Gretzky's rookie year.
What?
Yeah. It's being auctioned off. They think it's going to go for about $2 million.
Oh my goodness.
Which can you imagine that, going to clean out like your grandparents' house and like you're moving a bunch of boxes and you're like, oh, what's this? Oh, it looks like it's a box. There must be something stored in it. Like, oh no, it's sealed. It's got 16 boxes of Wayne Gretzky's rookie year. Like that's the holy grail of hockey cards just sitting there. And I don't know how.
There could be like 5 in there. There could be like 5.
You could have like 5. That's
16 boxes. I mean, it was different back then. You get a ton of cards in boxes. I'd probably say there's somewhere between 10 and 16 Gretzky rookie cards in that case, which is
and all probably at like a 10 rating.
Well, it would depend. I do know, and this is what I saw, being in the card culture over on our Crack Pack Facebook group. A few people were chiming in on this, and they said, that year of the Gretzky rookie card, a lot of the sheets weren't cut great, so there could be some off-centering and stuff. But you would hope, I mean, if it's cut well, the surface should be good, unless it was against the gum. I mean, that could ruin it. And the corners should be pretty darn excellent as well. So I would think the ones you're pulling out of there are probably 8s and 9s at least, and hopefully a few 10s. And then, I mean, I just don't know if I'd have the balls to open it. Like, you pay $2 million for it. The moment you open it, what if you get like 7 Gretzky rookies and 5 of them come back as 7s? Then you're screwed.
But what would you do then? Would you rather just like hold on to it?
Well,
like and never
we were
open
saying
it or
today,
just resell it.
If you bought it today for $2 million, held on to it till he eventually passes away at the age of 99, obviously, that would be 36 years from now. And I mean, I would have to think if/when, whatever that happens, that thing would go through the roof. But how are you supposed to sit on this for 36 years? I don't know. I don't know what I would do, but it's fascinating. A fascinating discovery. That's just the dream. Like, that'd be insane.
I think I'd be cracking those packs like crazy.
You would? You'd open them?
Oh, yeah.
I probably would.
Yeah. Right into the factory Kuwahara bike spokes and go for a rip.
Just trash them all. Trash them all.
Cass, would you open it? Like this basically summarizes your personality, right? Like if I had like $500 million and I spent $2 million on this, I'd probably crack a few of the boxes at least. Like the rush to pull a Wayne Gretzky rookie is just something you can't feel in life pretty much. So I'd probably crack part of it. Then maybe I'd probably go until I pulled a couple Wayne rookies and then I just put the rest away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of have to. But then you could have. Well, here's the thing. Is if you don't want to saturate the market with too many Wayne rookies too fast. So
yeah, especially nice ones.
I think I would start to open. I probably would open them all, but I probably would move into that wanting to control the market where it's like if you had, let's say you had multiple Waynes, is like you sell one right away because big payoff, got to get your money back, and then you wait and you just you basically like the silk gloves. Like this completely sterile environment with no dust or no like just ultra careful, and then get those things secure and locked away somewhere, and every couple of years just start to sell away, or when you see the market go or something like that. So my fear about not opening any long term would be that the card market falls apart or something happens. Like that's where it's like a pretty good time. It feels like to me to be moving on some of these things.
The best time would have been if you found this during the pandemic, because card prices were like 1,000. Like it was like you'd never seen before. You could have moved this thing for $15 million. Like it would have been It would have been insane. But still, what a find! Just an all-time find. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Glad we managed to discuss that a little bit. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and we'll get into Dusty will order chicken tenders and fries in Vegas, boys. That's that's not it's true. We went for lunch yesterday, and I contemplated. We had a meeting yesterday at Hudson's, and I contemplated getting the chicken tenders for about 15 minutes. Because the last time we were there, YouTube Trev was like, "These are the best chicken tenders I've ever had in my life," and I was like, "Well, I got to try them." Then I got the blackened chicken burger, and it was pretty delicious anyway. But yeah, I'm a huge chicken tender guy. What can I say? I'm proud of it. I think they're delicious. So, but that being said, I also get angry when I order them, and they're very brutal. I'm like, damn it! But what are you supposed to expect? You're kind of taking a chance with the chicken tendy game, that's for sure. All right, we're gonna get to our Hart Trophy. Our Hart Trophy nominees, each of us, we've got our 3 that we're going to bring to the table here. TSN dropped their top 25 players list mid-season. Connor McDavid's number 2. Nathan MacKinnon is number 1. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. We're obviously going to dive into the Edmonton Oilers here quite a bit. We're already seeing your text messages coming in at 780-218-9999, so we'll definitely get into that as well. And, that's where we'll start. Also, Gage, we were talking about on Nielsen's show, I think Friday, you brought up the Roadhouse trailer. So I put together some Patrick Swayze trivia for a little bit later on today. On you guys
I'm losing already.
You know what? As I was writing the questions, Cass, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Cass gets one of these.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Cass acts like he's older than both of us, but he isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm more mature. There's a difference between older and more mature.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
okay, that's fair. That's true. You're right. You are the most mature out of the 3 of us. There's no denying that. Now, with that said, Swayze had an unbelievable run where it was Ghost, Point Break, or it was Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Point Break, and one other one. There was 4. Which one am I missing? Oh, Roadhouse, obviously. Those are 4 movies in a row that this guy banged out. It's an all-time run. So we'll get to that a little bit later on as we work our way through the show. But the Edmonton Oilers, like we mentioned, they've won 16 in a row. This text is in from Eden. It says, "Hey, boys, I just want to make a comment on the Oilers' defensive play this season. They have allowed the 3rd fewest goals against in the league, behind only the Pens and the Jets. We have games in hand. It is incredible how hard they have locked things down." And I almost pissed my pants today when Craig Button pointed out twice when we had him on that the Oilers have allowed 18 goals in the last 14 games. Cass, would you have ever thought in a million years we'd be talking about this ever?
Nope. Not with this group, not with this team. Now, would they have dropped it down? I thought they were going to do way better than they were at the start of the season, but to see the amount of the reduction in goals against is absolutely insane. Even more so than just that, look at how many goals they're giving up on the penalty kill. Look how fast their penalty kill has shot up in the league standings. Absolutely insane. Would have never have ever thought it. I mean, it's crazy that they managed to turn around this much. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like the power play and the penalty kill have swapped from year to year here. Right? I mean, and that's a good. I think it's. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it more beneficial to have a penalty kill that is just as dominant as their power play was last year? I think because more guys are involved in the penalty kill,
there's penalty killers now as opposed to just players that kill penalties.
And you hear guys that are lifetime PK guys. There's a certain amount of pride they take into that, right? That's a huge boost to the confidence level of guys that are on there. We know they only have 5 guys basically on the power play, but now you have a bunch of people feeling way better about themselves, about their game, about their contribution to the team because of this PK. I think it's more of a in the Oilers situation. I think it's more of a galvanizing kind of area of their team that allows them to feel better about themselves, and confidence is a drug, man. And it's breeding through the whole lineup.
Do you guys think in any way there's any threat of them reverting back to, I'm not saying beginning of this year's Oilers, I'm just saying last year's Oilers, who were an awesome team as well, but won games in different ways? Or is Cass, this just it? This is the new norm now. This is just how they play.
He's muted.
Classic.
Oh, classic. I haven't done that in a while.
I know. I was going to say, great run. The streak goes back to zero.
Zero. This is how many episodes without Cass muting himself? Yeah, zero. We got to get a sign in the back.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to do something here. That'd be good.
Yeah, get zero. They've been playing so well that I don't think it's fair to say that they're going to be basically just a little over one goal against every game the rest of the way. That's not fair to the group to have that expectation. But to sit and to say that this is a group that should be among the best now in the league, I think it's fair to have that expectation because we've seen them do it for such a run. Now, are they going to have a period of time at some point the rest of the way after the All-Star break where they might lose a game, might lose two in a row, or they have a stretch where they have a couple of games where they're struggling and not playing well? That is absolutely potentially possible. But we have seen now time and time again what they're able to do and the ways in which they're able to win. So, well, what is it? You just said 14 goals or 18 goals in 14 games. I mean, that's not reasonable. But to say that they can. No, you're not gonna keep that run going. But to say that they should be among the league's best moving forward in goals against average, I think that's a reasonable expectation because we've seen that this team can lock it down. They can play defense, get a little bit of goaltending, and then be totally okay.
Yeah, no, it's so weird to see this team play this type of game, and it's not. I mean, they've been playing. I could say what would you say? Like playing 45 minutes. Like there's times when other teams are pushing, obviously, and they're getting.
Well, Nashville hit like three posts, played well, outshot them. Like
the battle of the mustaches, like they said on the broadcast. Like that was amazing going up against Forsberg and Skinner. Like I think what did he have? Like 8 shots on net or 9 shots, like and good chances too, and. Yeah, no, it's the contributions they're getting from other players on this run is crazy. Stuart Skinner is becoming a number one goaltender. Like it's almost to the point now when he plays, it's expected to receive that type of goaltending, and same with Pickard. Like it's Stuart Skinner's playing at a level where arguably he could be the first or second star every night, I think, and really when you look at the whole picture, that is what NHL goaltenders should be. Starting guys should be considered as a star every single night. And that's one of the main reasons, I think. But it's also defensive play.
Cass, do you think other places are viewing Skinner, like other teams are viewing Skinner as an elite NHL goalie just yet? Or do you need a run to continue like this for the rest of the season from his personal play?
I think they want to see a run into the playoffs continue. That's what you want to see. Not just the run down the stretch in the season, but success in the playoffs and good goaltending in the playoffs. That's what most people, I think, on the outside are going to look at this and say, yeah, okay, you have a really good team. You have, great players in front of you. You have McDavid and Draisaitl. The team's playing really well. We all saw you struggle at the start of the year, even though I still don't think it was a Stuart Skinner issue. I think it was a team issue, but I'm not going to jump into that whole discussion.
Yeah.
I think for most people, it will be that playoff success. If he has playoff success, then people will look at it and kind of start to, I think, outside of Edmonton, have that conversation.
Gage, do you think it's there yet? I mean, he was in the Calder mix last year, but
and that's fine. But until you do it when it matters, Dusty, you're still considered on that lower tier, I think, right? Like he needs to get in there. And although he won a series, I think he really needs to establish himself as one of the main factors of getting through not only 1, 2, 3 rounds at this point to really like cement himself. I have no hesitation of calling him a number one goalie in the NHL right now over the last 2 years of what he's been able to accomplish, but he will have that kind of intern tag until we see that success from game 83 on.
Question on the nasty chat, and you can also text us 780-218-9999. Skinny slow getting across the net. Am I the only one seeing this, Gage, or do you view him his movement from side to side is a little slower? Is it just kind of controlled, really?
it's way more controlled. Like a lot of times, and I've said this before, when you see goalies stretch out to make saves and things like that, most goalies are upset with themselves. When it hits them in the crest, it's a way more enjoyable save because you know you were in good position. When you watch Skinner move side to side, count how many of those pucks kind of hit him in his torso, or you don't see him reaching that much. That's because, well, his foundationally he's so good, but it's also him, the way he reads a play. He knows where the dangerous shots can come from, and he anticipates, and he puts himself in a really good position to stop the puck. No, I completely disagree with his movement side to side. From the beginning of the year, there isn't that many. There was like 4 or 5, 6 times a games where those were happening, and those were completely side to side in those cases. Those are hard for any goalie to stop. But even on these little bang bang plays, you watch his feet, and I always say, when the puck moves, watch Stuart Skinner get to the set point of where the shot's coming from, and he's always there. I mean, he's playing at a really high level right now.
What about Corey Perry, boys? What did you think of Corey Perry's debut? Gage, I know we dove into it a little bit on our show today. Kassian had that post game on Saturday, but they've had some time to think about and review it. Cass, what did you think of Corey Perry?
Yeah, he was okay. He was okay. There was some good things. I mean, you loved like that first shift. Makes a great play, ends up around the net, kind of traditional Corey Perry, which was good. There was a couple moments, and they were smaller moments. So this is nitpicking overall on the game, maybe, and maybe nitpicking on Corey Perry, where I was like, okay, there's a little bit of being out of sync on a couple plays and a little bit out of position where he kind of got caught a little bit, and you could kind of see him spinning and trying to figure out where he was supposed to go. But he immediately, and I said this on the post game show to Tommy, immediately, worked his way back to the defensive zone and ended up making a play to force a turnover or to force a change in possession. So it was kind of like, there were some good things that he did, and there were some things where it's like, well, we could still probably attribute it a little bit to rust. And I'm wouldn't say that it's like, oh, he was too slow or, oh, he can't get around. It was more like, oh no, there's still a little bit of rust there. Guy hasn't played in a while. Getting back up to that game speed can be tough. So, I would say it was a positive game for Corey Perry. I mean, we didn't expect him to step in and, all of a sudden be at McDavid level.
Yeah.
That would have been unreasonable. So for what it needed to be, I thought he was just fine, which is good. That's a good spot to be for Corey Perry.
Yeah. Gager, if you just get what you got from Corey Perry last game, the rest of the way, I mean, you're probably pleased, at least, I would think.
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine. I think you're going to see more from him, right? When the intensity of the games get ramped up a little bit, I think you'll see him. And look, the guy hasn't played in a few months too, and we talked about it. The first shift, vintage Corey Perry, he doesn't shy away from that stuff, which is great. I really think you've only scratched the surface of what he's going to bring at this stage of his career to the Edmonton Oilers.
Lick Fury on the Nasty Chat says Corey Perry, top 6 smarts and talent with bottom 6 speed, looks good on the third line right now, which might be a decent way to describe him. This text is in from a 403 number, so likely somewhere down south. 780-218-9999 is where you can text us. This text says the second line isn't good enough. Wrong mix there if Kane doesn't find his A game. I still think that Leon Draisaitl will be back on that second line when it's go time come National Hockey League playoffs. And I like Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman too much to really not have that going when the going gets tough. So I don't know. Cass, any take on that second line, the way it's constructed?
Back after the break.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
I think it comes back out of the break. They go back, they have the little switch trying to mix things up where they, we're having issues against Columbus, and they go with the switch, and against Chicago, and they just run it through the weekend. But I really do think you see that flip back. And not that I want to disparage that second line. They were just kind of okay, right? They were kind of there. Going into it, I liked a lot of components to that line. I liked the potential of that line, but thus far they haven't really with Nuge centering a line with Kane on it. Like They didn't have as much jam as I'd like, or as much chemistry as I'd like. So, have they been horrible? No. Have they been great? No. They've just kind of existed and been there. But exactly. I would fully anticipate that you see the switch. This is not how you're going to run it. I mean, it's a little bit of a different look, and it's great that they can win with this different look. We've seen them do it now for a couple of games, but you're going to see a switch back, and I would anticipate it coming out of the All-Star break.
Gage, your classic, not hurting you, but not really moving the needle much either, essentially, with that line?
Yeah. You look at the Columbus and the Chicago game when the switch was implemented. I don't think those teams are really built to handle that beefed up first line, although the other line's just as beefy.
Yeah.
I was actually a little bit surprised that they didn't go back to it.
After that game where they went, yeah,
against Nashville, I thought. But then again, looking at Nashville's line, they were playing like that was a good hockey game. That was a hard fun, but still, it was looking at Nashville's lineup. They still couldn't really match it as well as possible. Once you get into some, this kind of third period of the NHL and of the season playing against teams, everything's going to be ramped up. I don't think that it's a good formula for success to have those two guys together at certain times to shake up. Yes. But when you see Leon and Connor on separate lines, it makes it difficult for the matchups for other teams.
Cass, who do you think is the Oilers' biggest challenge or roadblock in the West, assuming teams are healthy?
Assuming teams are healthy. Ooh, that's a tough one. Because it could be a little bit of a toss-up.
I think there's two or three teams you could put in the mix here.
There's really two or three teams you could put here. Man, I mean, Colorado is pretty hard to argue against, assuming they're healthy. But so is Dallas, in my opinion. And those are the two that I think pop to me more than the other ones.
Even more than Vegas, a healthy Vegas team, eh?
A healthy Vegas team. Well, healthy Vegas team depends if they circumvent the cap again here, which very well might happen. I could see that happening again. I mean, Vegas does too. Vancouver, not as much. When you look at statistically how they've been doing what they're doing, would they be a challenge? Absolutely. Are they the biggest challenge? I don't know. Yeah, Vegas would be a big one. Like, I feel like the top teams in the West all are really good. Not that the top teams in the East aren't, but it's like any one of them could be a challenge. Really, Edmonton's a challenge for most teams to have to contend with, I think, right now. I will say my brain jumps to Colorado or Dallas first. Colorado, do you have the playoff experience? If they're healthy, they're really, really good. Vegas pretty close too, I guess. I mean, that's a hard question, Dusty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cheating. I say Winnipeg, Vegas, and Colorado. Those would be three teams I think could be tough outs. I think I'm not saying Dallas because the last few years I've been like, I think Dallas could make a team that takes a legitimate run at this whole thing, and they've kind of let me down a little bit. But I do like the way that they're structured, obviously with Ottinger between the pipes. But Gager, what say you on those three? Like, can you pick one of those out?
It's tough because you got to look at Vegas circumventing the cap, like Cass said, if that's the case. But and then you just look at Winnipeg too. That they match up really well against the Oilers, I think, with what we've seen from them so far. It really doesn't ever. It's not going to be an easy out, regardless of who you play. I think, like looking at it, what could it be? It could be what Vegas, Vancouver, Winnipeg, or Colorado.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably disrespecting the Canucks here because we haven't brought them up. But I just like the Oilers in that matchup.
I don't trust teams that don't go through adversity at some point in the season. Canucks have had a pretty smooth ride. Not that they haven't played great, they have, but Canadian markets losing the first game of having home ice advantage in a series, the sky will be falling in Vancouver, and they'll have to deal with something that they have no experience with throughout this whole season. So if they go through a little bit of the slump here, there, and deal with a little bit of adversity, they've been healthy. Like, they haven't had to deal with anything all year. So, and that's usually a recipe for disaster once playoffs come around.
Sonny D is in. It says Avs, Jets, and Golden Knights. Buzz in Nebraska says the goalies worry me with Winnipeg down there as well. And, of course, you can chime in anytime in the Nasty Chat or at 780-218-9999. You see Zach Kassian signed a deal overseas?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. He obviously wants to keep playing and get to fly around on the big ice if he's still got his wheels. That'll be interesting to see. Matt Kassian, did you ever consider going overseas?
Yeah, it was a pretty, serious discussion. From a timing standpoint, it didn't quite work. It was late enough that there was not really much available. Over in Europe. Just from a contract, everyone had their guys already signed, so it would have been taking a not ideal contract. So when we looked at it, and I kind of looked at the direction everywhere was going, my wife was expecting.
Okay, I was going to say, is there a family?
Like,
yeah, that's tough.
There's a family reason. If she wasn't, like, if we weren't expecting, then we probably would have
been fun for you guys to go over there for a little bit, and
would have been fun to go, and we would have, whether it was a season or a couple, like we would have done it for sure. But I think, again, from a timing standpoint, I would have been gone. She wouldn't have been able to be there, so I would have missed or been trying to fly back.
That would suck.
Time. So it just, I mean, some of the things which to me from a life standpoint, I'm like, this is a non-negotiable for me from a family standpoint. And, career is important. My hockey career was important, but my family was and always will be more so. So it just didn't work out from a timing standpoint.
Gage, how long were you over there for?
8 years.
8 years, eh?
Cass, the thing is, if Cass would have gone, because I for some reason I see Cass signing in Mannheim because he has the German heritage. He could have got his German pass. He wouldn't have been part of two guys. He'd be a guest.
I already had my German.
Yeah, you already have your German passport. So
yeah. You probably would have just retired now, Cass. With that.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I part of me is saddened because we don't have pictures of you in lederhosen with massive Hefeweizens and speaking Deutsch, and everything worked out. I'm glad, but it's such a missed opportunity for that lederhosen.
All right,
you probably still have some, don't you?
Maybe.
Hey, if you got the passport, you got to have the lederhosen. I think that's got to be.
You would have had so much fun, Cass.
I know.
Yeah. I know. Whatever.
All right. We said we were going to bring some Hart Trophy candidates to the conversation today, and this text message here kind of really will fire things up from DK. Talking about Connor McDavid and Hart Trophy nominations, I don't think many people are taking notice of the fact that McDavid is slowly moving up the NHL ranks in NHL scoring. He's currently 5th on the list and only 17 points behind Kucherov, and he's coming on like a freight train. Anybody who thinks at the end of the year McDavid isn't going to be the scoring leader in the NHL is living in some dreamland. He will win the Art Rice by 20 to 30 points. We're only halfway through the season, for crying out loud. Austin Matthews and Sam Bennett have more goals, but the Leafs are going nowhere again. And Florida had to get by the Bruins team that has nasty memories about last spring. I think he meant Sam Reinhart, not Sam Bennett. McDavid might not win the Hart Trophy anyway, but I will predict he will win the Conn Smythe and the Stanley Cup. I have no problem with you believing that Connor McDavid could track down McKinnon and Kucherov for the Art Ross, but to say he's going to actually track them down and then win it by 20 to 30 points this year. Like McKinnon right now, both of these guys are on a pace that's just off of what McDavid did last year. Like, they're both having phenomenal seasons and deserve the recognition that they're getting right now. I think we on the Lock Shop today, we talked about getting some odds here on McDavid actually tracking them down for the Art Ross, and those will probably be posted at CoolBet on Thursday. But as far as this current Hart Trophy discussion goes, Gager, which 3 names did you bring to the table? And is Connor McDavid on that list right now?
No, Connor's off this year. There's Connor fatigue with the Hart Trophy, I think. Number 1, I have Nathan MacKinnon. Just watching highlights and the little bits of Colorado games, he's a force this year. It looks like the MacKinnon of 2 years ago. The second, I've got Cooch. Just he's smooth as silk out there, what he's doing. Last, I think Quinn Hughes. You have to put him in the mix with how well that Vancouver's done. So those are the 3 that I brought. I think there's an offhand chance you might see Quinn Hughes, depending on the last half of the season here and how it goes. He could be holding the Hart Trophy at the end of the year.
Has had a phenomenal season. TSN just dropped their top 25 players at the midway point. of the season. And it's, they make a big deal out of it saying MacKinnon usurps McDavid in the TSN midseason player rankings. If you're still doing like a who's the best player in the league at the end of the year, I think Connor McDavid is still at the top of that list. MacKinnon, McDavid, Kucherov, Matthews, Makar, Quinn Hughes, who you had there, Gager, Pasternak, who probably should find a way to be higher in that list. He's having a ridiculous year. Rantanen and Connor Hellebuck, and then Elias Pettersson in the mix there as well. So you did go with Quinn Hughes on yours. Cass, who would be your top 3 for the Hart Trophy right now?
Austin Matthews, number 3.
40 goals in 46 games is insane. I mean, he's going to hit 60.
It is insane. He's going to hit 60, potential to hit 70, and really, like the Toronto Maple Leafs would be completely lost without him. Again, and that for me is always a big barometer. Is like, how well would the team play without this player? And I know not everyone factors that in to the Hart Trophy, but I factored in my own brain for the Hart Trophy.
Wait, so are you actually putting Matthews in the Hart Trophy mix?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making one of your hilarious Austin Matthews jokes.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, number 3. Now, not necessarily mine, but yeah, it's just he's in the mix. I mean, you have a guy that could score 70 goals like that.
Yeah, good point.
How do you replace 70 goals for a team from one player? Like, it's incredibly hard to do. So, Austin Matthews, I think I have him slid into number 3 right now. Number 2 is Austin Matthews.
Oh my God.
See reasoning below, and number 1 is also Austin Matthews. See the reasoning for number 2 and number 1 or number 3. So there is no discussion to really be had, because it is Austin Matthews Trophy, and he fully completely deserves to win. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3, Austin Matthews.
I knew there was something going on there. I knew that.
I was going somewhere.
That being said, I thought you legitimately convinced me that if he scores 70 goals, he's probably going to be in the mix.
No, he is actually legitimately my number 3 on the list right now. My number 2 on the list is Nathan MacKinnon.
Okay.
Solid season. I mean, pretty hard to argue with 84 points, putting together a great season. And my number 1, and people are not going to like this, is Nikita Kucherov. And I don't have Connor. Connor would be number 4 right now. Now, do I expect Connor to move up that list? Yes. Do I expect him to be in this discussion? Yes. Is it hard for me to say that he's probably sliding into number 4 right now for me in terms of being most valuable player? Right now, yeah, it's a little tough to do that, but I can't, with Nikita Kucherov, and you already mentioned the point pace that these guys are on. When I look at Kucherov, that's an aging Tampa team that isn't as good as they've been in years past. And Kucherov steps out, and from a production standpoint, from success of the team standpoint, this team would be completely lost without him. Not that Edmonton wouldn't be without Connor McDavid, but I just think more so. It's like there's enough guys in Edmonton right now that have the potential to step up. That they're playing fantastic hockey, and McDavid's had some help from some of the depth and from some of the guys around to have the success that they've had, which is great, and we love that, and we want to see that. I would agree with Gager. There's a little bit, as there often can be, there's going to be a little bit of heart fatigue from McDavid being in there. So I think, if I put together a list that maybe it wouldn't even be, I would say is like my potential list for the potential to actually win this thing. Kucherov's at the top right now. McKinnon's number 2. Austin Matthews, as much as I hate having him on there, is number 3. And that's it. Again, the 70 goals, you can't argue with that. You can't replace 70 goals. So that is my top 3. Is McDavid close? Yes. Do I anticipate him to probably jump onto that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, this is midway through the season, just past the midway point of the season. Can Connor McDavid still put himself into that Hart Trophy conversation over the final 37 games? Yes, of course he can. So we're not writing him off. We're just looking at what's happened so far this season, and there are valid candidates outside of Connor McDavid this year, a trophy that he's kind of run away with for a long time. So
everyone's mad at me on the nasty chat. Like, I get it that you're upset, and I want Connor to be on that list. But if we really practically look at this and look at it from a point production standpoint, he's like 14 points behind these guys.
17.
And he's not going to score 70 goals.
Yeah.
17 points behind these guys. So like, I get it. Do I think he'll get there? Yeah, but I'm not going to mute my mic, and that's.
I like them saying, "Cass, mute your mic." By the way, I just tweeted out a quick little graphic that Gator Hockey sent us of you and me, Cass, and I think this is from The Office, and you're holding up a sign that says 0 days since muting myself, and I'm sitting there like all proud of you. So that's nice. That's a good look, actually. Okay, for me, I do have one name that neither of you guys have on the list. I don't know if I necessarily labeled him in my mind 1, 2, or 3. I think I'd probably give the nod to MacKinnon right now. So I guess he would be number 1. MacKinnon and Kucherov are just doing so many good things from a point producing perspective that, I mean, they're running away with it. It's like a 2-horse race right now for the league scoring lead. So I do think you have to have both of those guys in there. And then the other name, and I like Quinn Hughes. I like Pasternak too, if we want to throw him in there. If Austin Matthews does end up scoring 66, 67, 70 goals, I mean, he's going to be into that conversation as well. I still think Connor McDavid has something to say about it when it's all said and done. But right now, the Winnipeg Jets are battling with Colorado and Dallas for top spot in the Central Division. And Colorado scored 190 goals this year. Dallas has scored 183 goals this year. And the Winnipeg Jets have scored 149 goals this year. I think Connor Hellebuck deserves to legitimately be in this conversation from a goaltending perspective. And it comes back around to it, and a lot of people say, well, goalies have their own award. I get that. There's the other side of it where, well, goalies should be the MVP every year because goaltenders are so damn important to the position. So I understand how we always kind of take goaltenders out of this conversation, but he's got a .924 save percentage and a 2.20 goals against average for a team that even when they were winning a bunch of hockey games there, they weren't doing it by scoring 5 and 6 goals. They were doing it because Connor Hellebuck is absolutely ridiculous between the pipes, and they play good defense in front of him because they know they don't need to stretch much else when you only allow 109 goals against. Like, I'm looking, Vancouver's allowed 127 goals. The Oilers have allowed 124 goals, but they've played 45 games. To have allowed just 109 goals in the 47 games so far, I think you have to put Connor Hellebuck, who's number 9 or whatever on that TSN list. Without Connor Hellebuck, I'm not sure the Winnipeg Jets, and I know Brossoit's played well, but let's be honest. I mean, there's a completely different level here. Without Connor Hellebuck, I don't think the Winnipeg Jets are a playoff team, let alone a team battling for top spot in the conference. So I think he's that valuable to them. I would have some time for Connor Hellebuck being in the conversation. And if we include Connor McDavid somewhere in the conversation, there's a pretty good heart race shaping up here because there's like 6 or 7 guys that you can make a legitimate case for if you're willing to look past just a 2-horse race between Kucherov and MacKinnon, which is what it might end up coming down to.
I think if things keep going, he could. Is it the Lester B. Pearson? Is that the one that? What's
Ted Lindsay?
What's the?
Yeah, it's been
Ted Lindsay. That's the. That could be the peer vote of what Connor Hellebuck has been able to do. The Hart Trophy. It's just writers, and all they care about is points. At the end of the day, they don't take, or if you're from Toronto or not. Essentially, that's what it
you have to
comes
check
down
these
to
boxes, right? Like,
yeah. So the Hart Trophy isn't the only time I feel like they have got it right, but. And it pains me to say it, but the year that Taylor Hall won, I think that was a good vote. There was a guy that basically pulled.
He drug a team to the playoffs,
into the playoffs, right? That was a true MVP of the league. Just because a guy has the most points, I don't think it necessarily constitutes him winning the Hart Trophy. I like the criteria that both of you guys have laid out, where what happens if you take that player out of their lineup? What do you think happens to that team? Are they a middle of the pack team at that point? Are they still a playoff team, or do they completely fall off the map? And I don't know. To me, I think that the Winnipeg Jets, just the way that they play,
is because they have Connor Hellebuck. You think
that's part of it? But I think they're still a playoff team, Dusty, with that structure. I
guess
really
who it is. I mean, if they're running Brossoit the whole year, then I don't think
kind of get you there a little bit. He's not a bad goalie. I look at Kucherov. That's a big drop off there with that aging. I think if I look to him to be the front runner, actually, now that you guys have convinced me, I'm changing my list. McKinnon's 2, Kuch is
going
1.
to Kuch.
You're right, Ken.
Going to Kucherov at 1. K. Elks is in and says MacKinnon was robbed that year. Taylor Hall should not have won. McKinnon, and that was a close vote. I'm glad he brought that up just because I had the vote sitting here right in front of me. By the way, can you guys remember who was third in Hart Trophy voting that year that Taylor Hall won it? I don't think you'll get it. I shouldn't even have asked. It's kind of a mean thing to do. But it was Anze Kopitar, actually. Kopitar finished third in Hart Trophy voting in 2018. Nathan MacKinnon finished second with 1,194 voting points. Taylor Hall, 1,264. He had 72 first-place votes. MacKinnon had 60 first-place votes. Somebody in Winnipeg gave Blake Wheeler 1 first-place vote, so that was nice. Malkin had 3. Kucherov didn't have 1. McDavid had 6. Claude Giroux with Philadelphia had 10 first-place votes that year. So, it was spread around a little bit, but Taylor Hall did squeak it out and managed to come away with it. But that was one where he drug not a very good hockey team to the that was like Pavel Bure, Florida Panthers-ish back in the day when like he would get 90 points and nobody else would have more than 40 type of thing. It was just absolutely ridiculous at the time for sure. All right, I did say we're gonna get a little bit of fun stuff here at the end of Two Guys and Goalie today. Cass, have you seen the Roadhouse trailer yet?
For the new one?
They're remaking it with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, and
no, I haven't seen it.
And it looks awesome. Like Gage, I mean, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Like maybe it's just because now I am a pro Gyllenhaal. Like I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I even like Source Code. Like I like a lot of Jake Gyllenhaal movies. He was great in The Nightcrawler. Like he's awesome. So I like him a lot. I'm a big fan. But that Roadhouse trailer, Gage, it looked unbelievable.
It's like when they first said that they were remaking it. I won't lie, I was a little bit
me too.
angry. You know,
is that the one where
is that the one where
he's going to be a ghost and they do like the clay?
Cass, I don't
thing?
like your chances at Swayze trivia. Just saying.
I originally I thought it was the origin story of Sam Elliott's character.
That's what you thought, eh?
First. And I was like, oh, okay, no, it is Dalton. I thought that would have been even cooler if they kind of did the backstory of Sam Elliott, and then there could have been a whole trilogy here, Dusty. Which missed opportunity.
This does look good, though. So in honor of Patrick Swayze, an absolute legend who sadly passed away all the way back in 2009, 14 years ago. Have you seen the Swayze, what's that, in the Life of or whatever? It's a documentary.
Oh,
it's
no.
popped up. It's good. It's good. Anyway, I've got 7 Swayze questions I'm going to ask you. And just to be fair here, I'm going to give Cass 3 seconds before you, Gager, to answer these.
Okay.
I think this is a better way to do it. I just came up with this. We'll see how it goes. Cass, you get 3 seconds. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay. How was his character Sam killed in the movie Ghost?
Gager.
He was stabbed by muggers.
0.5. He was actually shot by muggers.
Oh, was he
was
shot?
shot. He was shot.
I was going to say he was stabbed because I think wasn't he stabbed in Roadhouse? Didn't he get?
I'm pretty sure
stabbed?
Swayze's been stabbed in every movie at least once.
Yeah.
All right, finish this quote from Patrick Swayze, one of his movies. Cass, no, you might be able to get this one, buddy. Fill in the blank. Nobody puts blank in the corner.
Okay, baby.
Yeah, there we go.
But that's just from pop culture.
Cass is on the board. Yeah, but it's a Swayze. It's a classic Swayze line. All right, here, Cass. You know what, Cass? You might take a run at this. This is some pop culture stuff here too. Who danced alongside Swayze on Saturday Night Live in the Chip and Dale skit?
I know that one. That's an easy one. Yeah, that's Chris.
Okay. Gager, you still think you got a chance here? I mean, Cass is doing pretty good.
I don't know. I like this because I'm like cleanup. Like win Fred Stein's money or whatever.
All right, yeah. Win Ben Stein's money. Yeah. Well, Jimmy Kimmel. Kimmel was in that one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
All right, so Cass leads 2.5 right now. Which Canadian TV show had a train called the Swayze Express?
Wow.
Gager can.
Cass going to pass on this one. Gager, do you have a guess?
Was it Degrassi?
I'll give you one more clue on this one. You both have to answer here. There's no extra time. It was to smuggle drugs across the border.
No clue.
Trailer Park Boys. Trailer Park Boys, Swayze Express. I thought one of you guys would get that one. By the way, to Northstead, who's in it, says the littlest hobo. Well done. That'd be amazing. All right, so Cass still leads 2-0.5. All right, I know Gage will get this if Cass doesn't get it in the first 5 seconds. Fill in the blank again with this quote. Back off, war child. Cass, you don't know it? Gager, you're free here. Come on.
I know it. Oh God, I'm blanking. Back off, war child. Oh shoot.
Oh, it sounded like you started to
Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break. You named your kid after his character. My God. I had a T-shirt of this for a long time. I still do, actually.
Shoot. How can I forget
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Seriously.
Oh, he got it. Last second.
Seriously.
Oh, my God. All right.
Yeah.
2 to 1.5. Nice work. That was a deep pull, Gager. I thought you'd get that easier, but you got it. All right, so 2 to 1.5. All right. This is one that I don't think Cass is going to get. Gage will have it immediately. Cass, you got 5 seconds here. What was Patrick Swayze's first name in the movie Roadhouse?
You guys said it not that long ago, so I'm actually going to remember. Dalton.
Ah, damn it. I didn't realize we said it. All right.
Otherwise, I would have had no idea.
Okay.
No idea. But right when you guys started talking about Roadhouse, I'm like, I need to file all this information away
smart,
just in case.
Smart thinking. I didn't even think about that. Cass is about to pull off the Patrick Swayze upset. Unbelievable.
Well, it's not really an upset. I have a pretty big handicap.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Let's be real.
All right, here's the final one to fill in the blank. It is from the movie Point Break. If you want the ultimate, you've got to be willing to blank.
Go ahead, Gager. Die.
Pay the ultimate
Pay
price.
the ultimate price, baby. Well done. So Cass wins 3 to 2.5 because of the stabbing as opposed to the shooting in the movie Ghost.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
You know, there's 2 other really good Swayze movies that I watched in the late 80s, early. It's Next of Kin is fantastic.
Okay.
And what's it? Steel Dawn. It's like a dystopian one that he did too. So if you're looking for Swayze movies with full of just mindless action, those are fantastic.
Steel Dawn was released right after Dirty Dancing. So he would have had some, I didn't get any Youngblood trivia in there. Could have mixed in some Youngblood trivia as well. And of course there's always The Outsiders, which we could have mixed in there as well. Yeah. What a cast.
Youngblood I might have been okay. It's been a really long time.
I haven't seen Youngblood in a long time either, man.
I do have a little bit of a Patrick Swayze story.
Okay.
A little bit, actually. Okay. Or it's relevant to Patrick Swayze. So I just want to tell it because I think it's funny. So we'll see what everyone else thinks. But so this was some time ago. And my wife and I were married. This was right after I retired. So we had just moved back to Edmonton. So we moved back to Edmonton and only been here a very short time. And one of my buddies who was dating a girl invited us over to her house for New Year's. We had just got back. He's like, hey, I'm not really going to know a bunch of other people there. I'm dating this girl. I really like her. You guys want to come? Like, I don't know many of her friends, but like, come on over for New Year's. So we went over for a New Year's party to this house. And we knew no one, just my one buddy who was there. And, as part of it, we just kind of all hung out together and didn't really talk to anyone. And we all think we're pretty funny. That group of people did not share the same sense of humor that we had. They took things very, very seriously. Needless to say that long-term, that relationship didn't work out for my buddy, rightfully so. I'm very happy it didn't. But at some point during the night, because it's New Year's, you're there pretty early and you're staying up really late. Someone decided to play. I can't remember if it was like Fishbowl or like the game was like phrase, picture, phrase. I don't know if you've ever played any games like that, like where it's like everyone writes down something and you throw it in a bowl and then it's like round 1, you have to act it out, or you use, it kind of like charades. And then like round 2 is like, you have to act it out underneath a sheet.
Okay.
That was the game. And then like round 3 was I can't even remember what round 3 was. But I never played that version of like a charades type of game before. And for whatever reason, with the acting out underneath the sheet, we kind of all talked amongst ourselves and were like, would it be funny if you just like every answer you wrote was like Ghost or like had to do with like Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost because you're acting it out under their sheet. So we just thought this was the best thing ever. So there was like, you each put in 3 answers. So there was 9 answers. Like one was Ghost. One was double Ghost. One was Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost. One was Patrick Swayze like performing the dancing scene in the movie Ghost. And it just is like, and we were sitting there dying, and everyone like they had no sense of humor. Like no one thought they were like, this is so like, why would you put like Ghost? And I'm like, because you put a sheet over your head to act it out, and it's like, anyways. Sorry, that's my story. It was funny. Maybe you had to be there, but it's still with that one friend and with my wife, we still make references.
You guys are still loving that,
Ghost.
yeah.
Double Ghost, yeah. Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost. So there's my Patrick Swayze story. That's the like pretty much the extent of my Patrick Swayze real knowledge. So,
I really thought
I'm
you like
surprised
bumped
you
into him
didn't
or something.
ask
That would have been great, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask the question: what movie did Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves be in aside from Point Break?
Youngblood.
I thought that.
Youngblood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
was Keanu Reeves in Youngblood?
Yeah, he was the goalie.
He's the goalie.
Because he's a real goalie, right? So he was the goalie.
I don't know if I ever.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was in there.
Yeah.
As Austin
See,
said.
We have a lot in common, him and I.
I had Rob Lowe like tucked in my back pocket because I thought that might be one because that's again the only question I could have answered.
Oh, and they were together in was Rob Lowe in Outsiders? Yeah. So they were. I mean, that was kind of that group of guys there. Gidger, what'd you say? You and Keanu Reeves have a bunch in common?
Yeah, goalies.
Canadian.
chosen one.
Chosen one.
John Wick.
Yeah,
Similarities.
He had a dog. You have a dog. All that type of stuff.
Speaking of, I have a dog now too, but we can talk about that next time. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Dude, you got 3 girls and a dog now?
Kind of came out of nowhere.
You're gonna be as bald as Gager in 4 days or 4 years.
Yeah,
give you 4 years.
Well, it's not a puppy though. We took an adult dog that was in a tough situation.
We'll get to Gager's tips on raising or having a dog on Thursday's episode for you, Cass. That'll be good. Man, I hope I never have to come on this show and say that. God, I do not want a pet. All right, that's going to do it for us. Oilers won 16 in a row. They're pretty darn good. For Joaquin, Gage, Matt Kassian, I am Dustin Nielson. That's going to do it for our live content here on Edmonton Sports Talk today. If you're listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the Nielsen Show replay is coming up here right away, and we will get to that. We'll be back with the Nielsen Show tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock here on EST. Good show today, boys. We'll talk to you Thursday.
Bye.
Perfect.